Now to North Korea, a country which has been in the headlines for a number of reasons recently, and sport hasn't been one of them. Yet Korea has given the world one of its toughest Olympic disciplines, the martial art of Taekwondo. The way of the foot and the fist is practiced throughout the communist state, as Al Jazeera's Tony Cheng reports from Pyongyang.
Hailing the sons and daughters of the revolution, a 60-foot statue of the dear leader, model workers at his feet. The struggle for the glory of the DPRK is paramount in North Korea. But everyone needs to let off a bit of steam, and here at the Rongnam dockyard in Nampo Port, they're doing just that. The welders are playing the electricians in an exhibition match. North Koreans, like most people, love their football, but the past few years have brought little success to the national team. Long gone are the glory days of 1966, when the DPRK got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. But here in the suburbs of Pyongyang is a centre of North Korean sporting dominance, the home of the way of the fist and the foot. This is the Taekwondo Palace. Glass cabinets display the cups and trophies awarded to North Korea's elite squad, a museum dedicated to the history of this Korean martial art. Its founder, actually a general in the South Korean army, wanted the sport to reunify the country. Today's practitioners are picked from the elite of North Korean athletes, and while physical excellence is obviously important, according to one of the world's top fighters, it's not the key.
Different martial arts have their own characteristics, but in this sporting discipline, you have to put the moral ideas first.
The demands of that mental discipline are obvious when you see the squad warm up. Breathing and muscle control are at the foundation of the training for Taekwondo. No movement is wasted. It's a martial art that uses the feet as much as the fist. Kicks that can carry powerful blows 6 foot in the air. Blocks of wood split in half and sent flying across the hall. And for such a physical sport, you might expect a macho following. But here in North Korea, the auditorium is mainly full of women. Sexual equality means the squad has as many women as it does men. And even with the benefit of padding, you wouldn't want to be where these guys are. And how would you deal with the unwelcome attention of 5 aggressive men? By leaving them flat on their backs? Taekwondo is supposed to be a self-defense martial art, although it's a very expressive one, as you can see from the actions going on here. It's something that North Korea excels in. They say they haven't lost a world championship since 1987. There are 2 different Taekwondo federations, and the one represented at the Olympics is based in the south. But the North Korean squad has its fair share of world champions. And according to the squad leader, it's because of their attitude, not their strength.
Strength is important, but what we concentrate more on is to be prepared in the mind. You can be physically stronger than all the other competitors, but if you have a weak mind, you cannot defeat the enemy. If you have a strong will, then you have no problem defeating the enemy.
And that's not hard to believe when you see their rigorous training regime. Eight piles of concrete blocks reduced to rubble. And a flying kick just to hammer home the point. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Pyongyang.
Now, despite having some of the best conditions in the world, the sport of surfing is relatively new in the idyllic Indonesian island of Bali. It was only really introduced by Australians in the 1970s, and ever since, thousands flock there each year. Yet the surfing culture hasn't translated into competitive success for the Balinese surfers, although hope could be on the horizon. Sportsworld Wen Hei reports.
From hollow reef barrels to consistent beach breaks, Bali has it all. It's the surfing centre of Asia and without doubt one of the best spots on the planet.
All the boys, all the kids in Bali in Indonesia, they have like the talents because we have the wave.
But so far that talent hasn't floated to the top where the sport is dominated by Australians and Americans. A handful of Indonesians like Tipi Jabrik have dabbled on the second-tier men's tour, but none have gone all the way to become regular features in the top flight.
The problem is, I don't think so. We should do the competition thing until those competitions come to Indonesia and we can fully take advantage of it. Because now it's almost too hard and expensive and almost impossible for us to do those circuit because it takes time, it takes a lot of money, and the sponsor, they always think twice.
One reason for that is the difficulty and time it takes for Indonesians to get the visas needed to travel to most countries that feature on the Pro Tour. But the main problem is that the sport at the top level is still developing here. Up until the 1970s, there was no surfing culture in Bali. In fact, locals have traditionally feared the ocean and the spirits they believe it contains. Ketut Menda was one of the first Balinese to paddle out into the ocean. Still very much involved in the industry, he's regarded as a surfing pioneer in this part of the world. He believes another obstacle to competitive success is that Balinese people in particular don't like to be away from home too long.
I've done that, I've been there, that's why I've been away nearly 1 month. I couldn't stay there long, so I went back to home because I don't know why I have to be back home, And also my friend asked also why, and this is our culture, our religion, that's why we cannot stay there long.
But there are signs things may be about to change. Bali offers some of the best surfing breaks in the world, and for years surfing tourists have been flocking here to take advantage of them. But there's also massive potential among local surfers, and that talent, that potential is starting to shine through. There's a new breed of young Indonesian surfers coming through the ranks with an aggressive, competitive approach. Leading the charge is an 18-year-old from Java, now carving it up in Bali.
I wanna number one, but so hard, I wanna more training, surf all day. I wanna learn from the pro surfer, I think Kelly Slater.
Jackson will get his chance to shine in January when he competes in the Junior World Championship in Australia.
I wanna win. I wanna just in my thinking, just I wanna win for this contest, because this Blabong contest in Australia, Sydney, in Melbourne, that's the bigger contest in junior. So I hope I'm gonna win.
Hopes and dreams aside, the reality is very few succeed. The more experienced heads in Bali say the surfing industry has a responsibility to educate young talent like Jackson about the pitfalls of professional surfing.
He used to drop school when he was in the 4th grade. And I think the company have a big role to help him, to put him on the right direction, because kids like him, earning a lot of money, and he wouldn't listen to anybody beside his sponsor.
Jabrik has taken matters into his own hands, setting up the Indonesian Surfing Championship, a pro tour that gives locals a regular taste of competition surfing, which will hopefully act as a springboard to competing more successfully overseas. But the ultimate aim is to see the world's best return to these breaks. The top circuit, the Association of Surfing Professionals World Tour, came to Indonesia in the 90s, and locals want it back.
Before, they have a big event in Indonesia, and suddenly they stop because the country's condition. But now everything is pretty much stable. So I would like to see ASP come back to Indonesia, and that would help the standard of surfing in Indonesia.
After all, the standard of their breaks cannot be questioned, which is perhaps the main reason why Indonesians haven't really cracked the big time. Why travel around the world in search of waves when this is what's on offer at home? Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera, Bali.
Excellent stuff. Don't forget to check our website, aljazeera.net/English, where you can find all the latest sports news, watch any of our Sportsworld stories again, and let us know what you think of the show. That's it for this edition of Sportsworld. I'm Sana Hamouche. You're watching Al Jazeera.